η συνάδελφός μου που στο Virginia Commonwealth University, στο Nurse Anesthesia Program, είναι υπεύθυνη αυτή της μεγάλης συνεργασία που κάνουμε. Θα αρχίσουμε το πρόγραμμα, θα αρχίσει το 2026 και μεγάλη μου τιμή, όπως σας είδα και φίλοι μου στο συνέδριο τον Οκτώβριο μήνα, και θα μιλήσει η κυρία για το πρόγραμμα που αναπτύξουμε τώρα και θα είναι Master's Degree in Perfusion. Nickie, you have the floor. She's the chair of the Nurse Anesthesia Program at Virginia Commonwealth University. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christos, for the kind introduction. I believe I know what you were saying there. It is an honor to be here to present today, to see some of you for the first time. And today marks, in fact, the first time that I've had the honor of presenting in this domain, which is very important to me. I'll share a little bit about my history and how I became involved in this program as we progress. But my background and training originally was as a nurse anesthetist. And so the first time I became aware of and came to appreciate all of the work that perfusionists do was during my time working in the clinical arena, providing anesthesia for patients having cardiac surgery. So I have very fond memories of that part of my career, and I'm very honored to be here today. I'm going to just share our experience at Virginia Commonwealth University. We heard just moments ago about the impressive history that the program at the Texas Heart Institute has. We hope to be the newest nurse perfusionist program, Master of Cardiovascular Perfusion program in the United States. What I've mapped here is the existing programs. There are 21 existing programs that are accredited in the United States, an additional that is under capability or candidacy at this time. We are not yet at the candidacy status, so we hope to, again, add to this, just showing where we are with the green there, and to tell you a little bit about why we first became interested in this and why we are undertaking this initiative at VCU. Largely, this stems from the workforce needs in this region of the United States. There is, of course, a huge volume of cardiovascular surgeries, procedures, and patients who need the services of cardiovascular perfusionists to provide ECMO, and then our growing transplant population and the potential utilization of a cardiovascular perfusionist in transplant surgery. So it's a very big need here in Virginia, and that was the driving force for what finally got this initiative off the ground. In Virginia, there are no programs of all of the existing programs of perfusion, and I've mapped the ones here that are just on the East Coast. You can see that there's a pretty significant gap in the geographic region surrounding Virginia. The closest programs to us would be to our north in Philadelphia at Thomas Jefferson, and to our south at the Medical University of South Carolina. So there are a number of states in the mid-Atlantic region of the United States that do not currently train perfusionists. So I'll talk a little bit about why Virginia Commonwealth University in just a second. In Virginia, we have a need. This is mapping the hospital facilities near to us. We're located in Richmond, Virginia, and these are just the facilities near to us that perform cardiovascular surgery, cardiothoracic surgery. We don't have a really, I don't have access to a really good database, but as I understand it, we do about 6,000 cardiac surgery procedures that would involve cardiopulmonary bypass or require the services of, at least on standby, a cardiovascular perfusionist in our region and within the state. So there are a lot of procedures and, again, a lot of jobs and facilities that need these health professionals desperately. VCU, of course, is situated very near to a number of these facilities. So we are very nicely located in terms of being near to where the patients are who need cardiovascular perfusionists. Again, this is showing those medical facilities there. So there's a number of them in this region. It also means that we have access to the training slots and facilities where we could secure the services of clinical educators who could train our cardiovascular perfusionists. Virginia Commonwealth University is a public institution, which is a key point in terms of talking about the process for developing a program. We are in the capital city of Virginia. We currently have about 28,000 enrolled students. The large chunk of those are undergraduate students, and then about 6,000 graduate students. We are two main components of Virginia Commonwealth University split into the Monroe Park campus, which is most of our undergraduate. And then my particular department sits in the College of Health Professions, which is part of the Medical College of Virginia campus. So we have a very large population of students who train in the health sciences on the MCV campus. This campus houses the VCU Health Medical Center, a level 1 trauma center, the largest referral center in Central Virginia at the VCU Health Medical Center. And then we have a number of health sciences schools, the School of Medicine, Pharmacy, Dentistry, Nursing, College of Health Professions, which might seem to be an odd place for the Department of Nurse Anesthesia, but that is where we are situated and where the perfusion program will be situated. And then also a very new School of Public Health. So this is just a snapshot. It's actually a little bit dated of the main part of the VCU Health Medical Center, and the health sciences schools are situated right around in that area. So perfusion fits well into this portfolio of academic programs, and again, well aligns with the services provided at the VCU Health Medical Center. The idea for standing up a program and beginning this initiative really started, I want to make a note and be sure I'm coming into this as we reach the point at which someone from the academic side of the process needed to be entered into this. But this was a program that was first conceived many years ago due to amazing professionals that I've had the chance to meet recently, multidisciplinary backgrounds, both our cardiovascular perfusionist team at the main medical center and at the Children's Hospital adjacent, the cardiothoracic surgery team, the heart center and the medical team there. The administrative teams there have worked very hard. There's been a lot of momentum growing for this. And then, of course, the academic units and the academic affairs team on our side of the house, as this decision to move forward with a master's program really came to fruition. So I want to give credit to all of the folks. There are more founders and original, stakeholders for this program than I can possibly mention here. And I do want to mention in particularly the last 6 months to a year, as I talk about some of the work that we've done, our chief perfusionist, Adam Blakey, Dr. Kazarajan, Dr. Nicolato, and our former interim dean of the College of Health Professions. This was the folks that were involved with the planning team over the last 6 months as we've really begun to make this come together. There was a lot of discussion about where this program would be situated. Once the decision was made, the health system really drove this forward. They decided to align with VCU. That is not necessarily a foregone conclusion. They certainly could have aligned with. There are, throughout the United States, hospital-based programs, other units, et cetera. So there was a lot of discussion around the alignment and where exactly this would fit in the College of Health Professions. And my slides, I apologize, are a little out of order. I'm going to move forward just a little bit here. For me, this was a very logical fit. We have a number of other disciplines in the allied health domain that are represented in the College of Health Professions. Again, not necessarily intuitive that the nurse anesthesia department would be here, but that's how we were founded as well. So it aligns very well with the allied health focus here. And then the Department of Nurse Anesthesia ended up being the final place where this program would be housed, in large part, I'll be very honest, because I was one of the few folks who understood and appreciated what perfusionists do. There was discussions with a number of deans and other department chairs about what would be the most logical alignment. And again, I lit up when there was an opportunity to do this. And that really traces back to the years that I spent doing cardiac anesthesia and the impressive professionals that I worked with. I have a very strong appreciation for what perfusionists do, both in the domain of cardiac surgery and throughout the hospitals that I've worked at. These were some of my favorite professionals to work with. And I came to, again, doing anesthesia, give a lot of credit to them for all that they contribute to that team. And in terms of the team performance, you know, that environment, cardiac surgery, and being involved in those procedures that is still today. I've been doing this 25 years. I have very little practice anesthesia any longer, but that was really one of the best memories I had, where teams really performed the way teams should perform. So I was immediately excited about this. And the other really important alignment was that, to me, to do cardiovascular perfusion education well, that's going to require a very high level of high fidelity simulation. And this is a picture of just one of the operating rooms that we have. We have 3 simulation operating rooms in the Department of Nurse Anesthesia, where we train our nurse anesthesia students. High fidelity simulation is embedded throughout the nurse anesthesia program. And my vision for this program and what it will look like is that it will very, very much embed high fidelity simulation into that. I mean, it's just such a very complex and technical field that, to me, that was an incredibly important thing. So we have the operating rooms already set up. We do have to repurpose one of our operating rooms to be a cardiac surgery operating room, but the opportunity for simulations that will involve our graduate students in nurse anesthesia and our graduate students in cardiovascular perfusion, our team is just overwhelmed with excitement about that. So we have an existing sim center. There was some content alignment in terms of the pathophysiology, physiology, the content that will need to be taught in the perfusion program, and some of the particular level of detail that we cover in the nurse anesthesia program. So we will be using some of the faculty crossing over, again, particularly in those domains, and then also involving our simulation trained educators who will implement the simulations that are required as part of the training for perfusionists. In the state of Virginia, it really was not an option. Again, across the United States, there are programs that are situated and not affiliated with a university, especially historically. More and more of them are affiliating with a university. And in the state of Virginia, in order to deliver this form of education, we are guided by the State Council for Higher Education in Virginia, or SHEV. So that was an alignment that needed to happen. So in order to deliver a master's degree program or a certificate program, for that matter, in the state of Virginia, that happens to be a state regulation. We still see a number of differences across the states in the United States, but this was important to us, and being able to advance our proposal and have it approved by SHEV is perhaps the major challenge that we face going forward. I'll talk a little bit about the timeline in just a second about when that step will happen. We also have to, once affiliated with the university, we have to meet an additional accreditation requirement, because VCU is accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools and Commission on Colleges. So the SACS COC proposal will be another that will be slightly less complex than the SHEV proposal in terms of moving forward. So the initial steps for us, just talking a little bit about our specific experience and where we are in the process, the biggest piece was for the health system team to get the buy-in and commitment from the university to dedicate the resources and time towards this initiative. Certainly the provost office team will be intimately involved with this as we have moved forward. So we needed that commitment. And it continues to be a collaborative commitment between the health system and the university, both in terms of providing the time for the people that are involved with this, the human resources that we need. The planning has largely been something that the teams from the university and the health system have just fit into our other jobs. That was not a formal role. So we just needed a lot of folks that were excited about it and willing to donate their time and energies to this. We certainly needed to have a program level supporter, someone willing to take the program on. And my team, I certainly cannot single-handedly take credit for that. Those in my department, again, really have jumped on board and gotten excited about that. An incredible amount of administrative support has been necessary to try to just organize all of these efforts. And then, of course, we have needed from the beginning subject matter experts from the cardiovascular perfusion department and the cardiac surgery teams in order to even put this into a step where we could say, all right, we're doing this. And then, of course, very quickly, we needed to have the financial commitments from the university and the VCU Health Medical Center to be able to make this happen, because once we get past that initial excitement, the momentum and to keep that going cost money. So we really needed those financial resources. The initial pitch for this to our college and so forth was back in January of 2024. The KHEP and the accreditation committee has been phenomenal to work with. It's been very refreshing. They are very receptive, excited about the work that we're doing, and they've been incredibly helpful. We are not in candidacy status yet, but they've been very willing to speak with us and to talk about some of the decisions that needed to be made. And we will be very soon seeking their formal assistance as a consultant so that we can move forward with the next steps. Officially, we kicked this off back in 2024. And then we've been meeting, all of the stakeholders that I've mentioned here have been meeting regularly, in large part, again, to secure the funding commitments. And it was really important. I think this is certainly an important take-home point, is to have that first 3 years of the budget and the financial resources set aside and ready to go. I developed early in the spring, probably early summer, late spring, the budget, which was an important step for us to be able to move forward. Had to put it to writing exactly what the resources we needed. We began the official academic proposal initiation in the summer, and we had, prior to that, a big chunk of that had been to do the benchmarking across all the other programs. Luckily, there are only 22 other programs. So in terms of looking at, benchmarking and making sure that we were aligning, it is very much our philosophy that we want to add to and bring value, not compete with any other program. We want to add to the workforce, not, again, in any way impact in a negative way the other existing programs. We hope strongly to work with those programs and to work with others who might hope to create new programs in the future. The workforce needs perfusionists, and we need to contribute and play well with others to help make that happen. The proposal process itself is lengthy. Again, we officially started this in the summer. We just reached the first level of internal approval. Once we decided to do a master's degree program, that piece of it is really easily a good 6 months to get the proposal written. I needed to go ahead and hire. Thankfully, we had the budget set aside so that I could hire the subject matter experts. While I appreciate and I believe I can follow along and understand all of the content and components of a perfusion program. For me, it is absolutely critical, of course, to have the expertise of the perfusionists who know best what the students who would enroll in this program would need and what the workforce needs from them. So we have, back in the early fall, we hired 3 adjunct faculty, Christos being one of those, 2 others who have really driven the program development and made sure that we've kept this aligned well with the needs of the future students and the workforce. So just some of the resources needed to be able to do that. Again, the benchmarking data, we had the help of graduate students in the health administration department who did a lot of the administrative work doing this market analysis, the review and research that was needed about other programs, and reaching out to accreditors. A very good number of hours has been devoted to that piece. And of course, we are leaning heavily on the published standards from the ACPE perfusion standards. So those are very prescriptive and extremely helpful for us in terms of getting this going. The perfusion faculty, again, have really driven the meat of the program development. And we've also benefited greatly. My background in education, I've been on this side of the world in education and academia for about 15 years now. My background was as Associate Dean for Academic Affairs in the Academic Affairs piece. But even with that background, it has taken a lot of expertise and time from the university to help us make sure that we were aligned with all of the SCHEV and SAC standards. And of course, the VCU curriculum guidelines. I've certainly drawn a lot from my experience as a program director for the nurse anesthesia program. And there are a lot of pieces of the nurse anesthesia program that will be embedded into the perfusion program as we move forward. What we have developed and has been approved internally and moving forward for the next level approval now is a Master of Science in Cardiovascular Perfusion. That is very definitely where we see the field going. It did not make sense to us, given that we are going to hopefully initiate this program in 2026 to begin at a certificate level, though we are still having to justify why that is the case. The number of contact hours of content and the necessary skills needed, I don't understand how that could fit into less than that. And I give a lot of credit to those programs who have incorporated all of that and made sure that they had a high quality program with fewer credits than this. The other piece of wanting to do a master's program and the number of credits that we did was in order to make our students eligible for financial aid so that they could get financial assistance to be able to complete the program. It will be a 5-semester program, and the first 2 semesters of that will be heavily didactic and simulation, all in person, of course. And then in the final 3 semesters, the cardiovascular perfusion students will begin their clinical residency phase into that, first at the VCU Medical Center, and then we hope to partner with the facilities and perfusionists across the region to be able to have the students train at a variety of sites across the Commonwealth of Virginia and the surrounding states. That will be a hybrid program, hybrid format program delivery so that they can be in the operating room much of their time and complete their remaining coursework and a thesis in a virtual or hybrid format. And again, we're hoping to enroll the first cohort in January of 2026. I won't talk a lot about the timeline. I have listed it here. We will be hiring very soon. That's one of the next steps is, again, to get a full-time perfusionist program director who will take on and continue to lead this initiative forward. And my job at that point will step back to supporting and providing the resources that our faculty and staff need to be able to get this program to fruition. We're going to be buying all of the high fidelity simulation equipment and supplies, have that ready. We will be looking at the final steps of approval for the Board of Visitors and the external accreditors in the early part of 2025. And of course, we will enter official candidacy status, we hope, in the spring going into the summer of 2025. So I'm incredibly proud to have been affiliated with this, and the work that we've done so far. We are working hard to keep this going and to, again, be able to really learn more about and collaborate with others in the field and those who are, like all of you here, passionate about perfusion and perfusion education. Thank you. I'm, again, very honored to be here today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Damico, for your impressive presentation. There is a need in Greece for a perfusion school. I hope that maybe in the recent years we will follow your example and we will try to make a school in the same level as you did. Thank you very much for your presentation. Chris, can you make a comment, please? With
absolutely. So I just want to echo the work that Nickie has done for this program. We would not be where we would be if we didn't have the support from Nickie and the College of Health Professions. I think it's very important when you build a foundation, and this is a very important foundation, to build it right. And you could see from the slides that there was a lot of work that was done, and I joined, to provide some support for the program on the perfusionist side. And really, you could take this framework, what we worked on, and take it and establish a perfusion program in Greece. And I think we have a lot of very passionate individuals in Greece as well. I met a lot of them at the Athens perfusion meeting, the Athens cardiac surgery meeting. I believe that there's a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of I participated in the perfusion conference, the Ημερίδα Εξωματικής Κυκλοφορίας, and my colleagues did a fantastic job presenting. And I think that VCU has an international office, and I believe that Nickie mentioned it to me. And there's an opportunity here, and you have to have support from the cardiac surgeons as well, and the medical school as well. And Dr. Kassaragian is the chief of surgery, and he's also a cardiac surgeon. So you will have to also have support not only from the school, but you also have to have champions in cardiac surgery as well. And I saw some amazing pioneers on the throne there, Dr. Prepas, και ο καρδιοχειρουργός συνάδελφος. And I think that there's a lot of momentum here. And I think that the framework that we established can easily be implemented in Greece as well. Virginia has a population of 8.5 million. Greece has a population of approximately 10 million. The other advantage that Greece has is that it has American-trained perfusionists. And I'm trying to nudge you a little bit there, Athena, and I'm sure Vicky is in the audience as well. I think that you are, and others perfusionists as well, are very competent to assist in establishing a program with any way we could provide support as well. So I believe that the opportunities are amazing, and in the upcoming years, and we're looking forward in having the European Board of Cardiovascular Perfusion meeting in October of 2025, and we'll be happy to share with you the developments with the program at that time. I believe Nickie is interested in coming to Athens with me as well.
That would be great. Yes. Thank you, Chris.
Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ για την πρόσκληση. Μεγάλη μου τιμή, και ό,τι ερώτηση θα έχετε για το πρόγραμμά μας. Είμαι πάντοτε available για ό,τι θέλετε. Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.
Εμείς ευχαριστούμε για την υποστήριξη.
Ευχαριστώ.
Είδαμε λοιπόν σε αυτό το